back, please. Alright, pallbearers, if you step to the casket, please. Take the casket by the handle. We're going to start lifting. Get right up there. Get right up there. And bring the casket right up to the truck. Straight down. You want to step back. See me coming? Don.
Good afternoon. Everyone may be seated. Thank you. Hello. Welcome. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kenny Allen. I am the Future Morticians Club president. I am also the Funeral Service Student Advisory Board for the class. We would like to thank you all for being here today to celebrate this amazing accomplishment by all these soon-to-be graduates. The song we just heard was produced by a graduate from last year, Jay Rojas, with his son. And we're going to use that song every year going forward. At this time, I am going to ask Professor Megna to come forward for today's benediction.
Ask you to please stand. Lord, we give you thanks for all the blessings that you bestow upon us. We thank you for all the learning, the skills, and the hard work of these students who have dedicated their lives to serving those who have died and their families. May we all walk safely along the pathways of our dreams, and may your gentle hand guide the decisions and actions that we make. May our hearts and lives always reflect your love and truth, and may hope be a light that we carry with us into each new day. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rains fall softly upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold each of you in the palm of his hand. Amen. You may be seated.
Thank you, Professor Megna. At this time, I ask, we're going to have a graduate speaker, Melissa Willard, to please come forward for her speech.
Hello, and thank you all for coming today. Thank you for supporting us as we take this first step from student to professional with our pinning ceremony. I struggled to think of what to say today after writing the same cliche thing 10 different ways, after spending an hour trying to figure out how to work in lyrics from a Prince song, after checking my fridge for the 5th time for inspiration. I actually ended up Googling how to write a good graduation speech. I've got this now. The first step was to pick a theme. I actually asked Professor Shea what the theme was, and he said Disney and castles. I almost missed the sarcasm, and I suppose the theme actually should be graduation. That would make sense. The second step was to begin with gratitude. Excellent. I checked that off with my first sentence. Truly, I want to thank everyone that has supported us during our time in the program, whether you helped us register for a class or gave us time in your embalming room, whether you made us dinner or shared an encouraging word. We would not be here without your support. The third step was motivational quotes. We've all taken our classes, we've all passed our exams, and we're graduating. We still need to take our boards, and some of us still need to finish our apprenticeships, but I don't think my colleagues and I need motivational quotes right now to incentivize us to continue to do these things. We wouldn't be here right now if we weren't motivated already. I'm actually instead going to give you a demotivational quote, because I know the past few months have been incredibly demanding, and sometimes we need a reminder to relax. So, just remember, every corpse on Mount Everest was once a highly motivated person. Take that as you will. The next 2 steps came together as one. Google told me I would need to get personal and reflect. This next part is actually going to be interactive, and I'd like to ask my graduating colleagues to be honest and play along with me by raising your hand if this situation applied to you. Raise your hand if you struggled with any of your classes. Raise your hand if you didn't quite have the best work, home, and school life balance at times. Raise your hand if you have ever had to choose between an extra hour of sleep or studying. Raise your hand if 4C's has a recording of you crying during a proctor-free session. Some of you are lying. Some of you are lying. Okay, now, raise your hand if you made friends to study with. Raise your hand if you shared laugh with others in your class. Raise your hand if you got excited when you figured out the solution to a really hard problem. Raise your hand if you've been able to take what you've learned and apply it outside the classroom. Raise your hand if you felt pride in what you're doing. Raise your hand if through all of your challenges, you persevered. So all of my colleagues should have had their hands up with that one, because we have. This is a rigorous program and a demanding profession. We've all worked hard to earn the title of graduate. The final step was to keep things short and sweet, unlike one of Professor Shea's lectures. So I'll wrap things up. Cheers to you, my colleagues. We've earned it.
Thank you, Melissa, and congratulations. At this time, I'm going to ask Professor Daniel Shea to come forward for his speech. For those of you who don't know, everything that went into this ceremony today was done by Professor Shea. He was here until late hours last night, early hours this morning, and he's kept the program alive. So I think he deserves a round of applause first, and then we'll hear something.
I did not do this all myself. There was a lot of help, and there's a lot of people around this room that helped, so I'll give them all the credit. And I do know which one of you were crying during my proctor-free sessions, and yes, they are saved, and yes, I have all the evidence, and that evidence will remain. So, and when the accreditor asked for footage, don't worry, I showed them which one. I said, this one's going to be a good one, and I showed them the good proctor-free session, so don't worry, they're there. In 1907, Asa Johnson Dodge started the New England Institute of Sanitary Science and Anatomy in West Roxbury. They later moved to Kenmore Square, and in 1989 moved to the Mononah campus where we came from. And for the last 5 years, we've been proud, honored, and we persevered being here on this campus. If you do your math, for those doing math, this is our 115th year anniversary of our program. Which also explains why I have banners on that wall. So we made a new tradition this year, that those banners, the large red one, was hanging in our hallway when I was a student, so that's the banner I remember. And that banner has been with this program for a very long time, and I know Professor Bresnahan was telling me how long that exactly was. And then our Mononah logo next to it. This is our tradition. This is where we came from. We didn't start yesterday. And the graduates to my left are part of a legacy, 115-year legacy that we're rooted in. And you are joining alumni from all over the world, not just locally. Okay? So very proud of you guys. I'm looking, when I look to my left, at leaders. I'm looking at a lot of leaders. There's a large amount of leaders in this group right now. I'm looking at leaders that are going to change this industry and move us forward. And when I look to my right, I'm looking at the leaders that have got us to this point. I'm looking at my own professors. sitting over here as well. Okay, so these are the folks that got us to this point today, and we can be very proud of that. So graduates, all I ask of you is to look straight across this room at the folks sitting on the platform party, and I want you to be them someday. Someday I want you to sit there. Someday I want you to be in the leadership. Someday I want you to be the president of the Mass Funeral Directors Association. Someday I want you to be. Someday I want you to strive to be one of these professors, one of these leaders, and someone that when we talk about this industry, this funeral industry, your name is the one that comes up. Hey, have you met that person? No, I haven't, but I'm looking forward to it. That's the names I want you to be. Okay? Congratulations. It's been a long road to get here, and I'm so proud of you for getting here.
Thank you, Professor Shea. I agree with the graduates that we all know what it's like to sit through a long lecture of Professor Shea's. The only one that's longer than that is his dad's. The next person I asked to come up forward for his speech was the most recent Dean of Health Sciences for Cape Cod Community College. This person our program wouldn't be what it was today if it wasn't for Patrick Preston. He helped us start here at Cape Cod Community College, and he most recently got a promotion to Associate Vice President of Human Resources. I want to thank Patrick for all his hard work through the funeral program and appreciate everything he's done for us. At this time, I ask Patrick Preston to come forward.
Thank you very much for the kind words, but I do want to point out, Professor Shea had referenced earlier the role of leadership. So while I have been the most recent Dean of Health Sciences, I do want to point out it was President Cox who had the leadership when Mount Ida was closing to step forward and say, when the funeral service program, we will take it. Cape Cod Community College would take it. And the journey over the past 5 years has been extraordinary. I extend you my profoundest congratulations on your achievements here today. But being a part of this program, even in the capacity I did, I think has been one of the highlights of my academic career. And I'm very happy to see us gather once again for this pinning ceremony. And I would just say, as someone who gets up every day and feels like they will be that body on Mount Everest, don't be afraid of doing something hard if someone challenges you to do something hard. And when President Cox challenged us to save the program and bring it to Cape Cod Community College, it was hard, but we did it. And you are the fruit of that hard work. So congratulations once again. Thank you.
We are now going to begin the presentation of the awards for today's ceremony. If I could please ask Professor Dan Shea, Professor Gretchen Silva, Professor Justin Souza, Professor John Bresnahan, MFDA President, and Maria Vitagliano to come forward, please, to present the awards for today.
Hello. The first award that we're going to start with today is the Maria Vitagliano Award. Now, this award is presented to the funeral service student who demonstrated academic excellence in all of the restorative art labs, including skillful physiognomy and artistry of their armature. So I now invite John Bresnahan to read the name of the recipient of the Maria Vitagliano Award.
Recipient is Jessica Class.
Congratulations, Jessica.
The second award is the Mu Sigma Alpha Award, presented to the top 10% of the graduating funeral service students who have demonstrated the highest academic achievements through diligence and perseverance.
And the recipient is Alyssa Martin. Congratulations, Alyssa. For the third award tonight is the Dodge Award. This is a historical award. It's presented to the funeral service student who demonstrates academic excellence, exemplification of worthy character traits, and a promise of outstanding contribution to the funeral service profession. The award honors the memory of A. Johnson Dodge, 1848 to 1926, who was the founder of the New England Institute. And I now invite John Bresahan to announce the Dodge Award.
The awardee is Melissa Willard.
Congratulations, Melissa. And John, could you please present the MFTA award?
Thank you. This is the inaugural year for the Massachusetts Funeral Directors Association's President and Past Presidents Award. We believe that we want to continue to show the gratitude and acknowledge the success that individual students have going forward as they enter our field. It is with great pride that I announce the winner for today, Odair Montero. We don't want to drop this.
Congratulations to all the award recipients, and thank you for presenting them today. Our next speaker couldn't be here today. She's not feeling so well, but we do want to acknowledge our Vice President, Kathy Varnos, and we do hope that she feels better soon. We were looking forward to her words, so thank you, Kathy. Our next speaker, if you were here last year, you heard this person speak as the graduate speaker. She is the alumni representative for the Funeral Service Advisory Board, a good friend and a close colleague, Julie Sudo.
Thank you. It is an honor to stand here today amongst some of my current colleagues and some of my future colleagues. 28 years ago, I graduated from a small Catholic high school not too far from here in Taunton. It had a long-standing tradition of servicing the underprivileged in the community, and the school motto was aptly termed, "Enter to learn, leave to serve." In fact, there was a large doormat inside the front doors of the school with the phrase printed on it. It was designed so that when we walked through the doors each morning, the words "Enter to learn" is what we saw. And as we walked out each afternoon, the words "leave to serve" were facing us. Now I know for sure that I did not consciously make an effort to see those words every day. However, 4 years in that school meant that I passed through those doors a minimum of 1,440 times. Even if I wasn't actively reading that mat every day, surely I must have noticed the phrase, enter to learn, leave to serve. And the fact that I'm standing here before you 28 years later and talking about a school motto and a doormat is proof that not only did I notice it, but it had obviously made an impression on me. 2 years ago, you all entered into the funeral service program at Cape Cod Community College with 2 goals: to learn all the skills needed to become tremendous funeral directors and embalmers and to pass the national boards. You have learned how to fold a flag for veteran services, how to sit with a grieving family as they make funeral arrangements for a loved one, and how to prepare and care for a decedent with the utmost dignity and integrity. If you are sitting in a chair to get pinned today, you have passed the dreaded board competency class and the bulk of your learning is over. No doubt, as you continue in your career, you will learn something new every day, but your classroom learning is finished. You have entered to learn. Now is your time to leave to serve. There is a recently deceased funeral director, Peter Stephan is his name, who owned a funeral home here in Massachusetts. Professor Shea can attest to the fact that I had a bit of a curious fascination with him. Peter was best known for his willingness to care for the indigent regardless of the circumstances. He cared for the Boston Marathon bomber when no other funeral director in the state wanted to. He cared for countless individuals who died of AIDS in the 1980s when many funeral directors refused to do so. And he cared for those families who did not have the finances to pay for the funerals of their loved ones. Peter Stephan embodied the sentiment, leave to serve, and he often served at the disdain of some of his colleagues. I think I felt a special kinship with him. As a first-generation funeral director and one who entered into the profession later in life, I am often asked, why did you choose to be a funeral director? My answer is always the same. I'm here because I truly believe that no matter who you are, what you have done in life, or how much money you have, at the end of life, everyone should be treated with honor. And treating someone in death with honor, dignity, and integrity is the last final act of kindness you can give them. In essence, leaving to serve. A short time into my apprenticeship, I had the honor of arranging services for a homeless veteran. His family requested a simple graveside service at the veteran cemetery. Up until this time, I had mostly worked large traditional funerals that included visiting hours, going to the church, and a lengthy procession to the cemetery. But on that beautiful sunny day in October, when we laid this gentleman to rest, I learned that there can be great power in simplicity. A pastor shared a few words, the Marine Corps Honor Guard presented the flag, and taps was played. Start to finish, the service lasted about 15 minutes. However, the love that was felt for this man was palpable. His siblings, along with his extended family, gathered together on that final day to pay homage to a man that was so clearly loved. As I said goodbye to his sister, she hugged me and repeatedly said, "Thank you, I don't know how I could have done this without you." Any doubt I may have had about a midlife career change was erased from my mind. I was here to serve. Graduates, as you leave here today, I challenge and ask you to remember only 3 words out of everything that I've said to you. Leave to serve. Serve the wealthy, serve the poor, serve the loved, the unloved, and those that are hard to love. I will leave you with a quote of Peter Stephan's. In an interview, he once said, "At one time they were born, they must have brought joy to someone. You have to respect that." Wise words to remember as you leave here today to serve your community. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. And I know me personally, her speech last year was about a jigsaw puzzle, and I personally, myself this semester, have used that jigsaw puzzle in every one of my classes, so thank you. I now ask Professor Shea and Professor Silver to come forward for the pinning of the graduates. Graduates, at this time we're going to begin our pinning process. When your name is called, I ask you to step forward to the casket, Once you're pinned, to return to your seat and stay standing until your entire class is pinned. Jenna Adusi.
You did it, woman.
Jessica Clasby. Shannon Carroll. Lily Darling. Nakia Gasper. Alyssa Martin. Odair Montero. Brendan Quinn. Sean Quinn. John Quidadamo. Nicole Snell, not present today. Melissa Willard. Graduates, please be seated. If everyone could please welcome me in a round of applause for all of the graduates that were here today. I now ask Professor Shea to come forward for the final care oath. Professor Shea, for the final care oath.
I left my glasses at that seat. All right, actually, no, wait a minute. All right, by the way, anybody wondering what master sleeves and why they're really long? Just so I can store my glasses. Magic trick of the day. All right. On the back of your programs, you will find the final oath, the funeral service final care oath. Graduates, I ask at this time that you please stand. Our licensed practitioners in the room, at this time, I ask that you please stand and join our graduates. Practitioners, I ask that you join our graduates as we recite the final care oath and that you renew your oath to your dedicated service to our dismal trade. I do solemnly swear by that which I hold most sacred, that I shall be loyal to my profession and just and generous to its members, that I shall lead my life and practice my art in uprightness and honor, that into whatsoever house I shall enter, it shall be for the benefit and comfort for those bereaved, that I shall abstain from every voluntary act of misconduct or corruption, that I shall obey the civil laws, that I shall not divulge professional confidences, and that I shall be faithful to those who have placed their trust in me, while I continue to keep this oath inviolate. May it be granted to me to enjoy honor in my life and in my profession, and may I be respected by all people for all time.
I'll now ask President John Cox of Cape Cod Community College to come forward for his speech today. Melissa, I heard if you all want to have a seat. You know, Dan gave me some pointers on how long I can go, so I think if you sit down, you'll be more comfortable for the next hour. Truly. And Melissa, I am grateful for your comments on the framework of giving speeches, and also I'm really excited to know that I delayed my trip up Mount Everest so I can be here today. So graduates, congratulations. I applaud your success in attaining this gateway to powerful futures with your remarkable achievements in the funeral service program. As we honor the roots of this program with ties back to the New England Institute, you, our 2023 graduates, are the renewal of the profession, guiding funeral service into the future, diligently balancing the care, the art, the science, and the needs of humanity at the point of bereavement with the end of life. You're empowered to guide the grieving,
working with others during a particularly impactful time through life's transitions, while also understanding the needs for sustaining this human service. Through the leadership of Professor Shea, Professor Magna, Gretchen Silva, and our other faculty, we recognize and appreciate our shared beliefs in the life-changing power of higher education for everyone. Your studies strengthen our community's health and resiliency, responding to the changing needs of society. You've refined your abilities to serve our community as successful and soon-to-be graduates of Cape Cod Community College. Congratulations again. We wish you well and tremendous, tremendous success. Thank you.
Thank you, President Cox. Before I bring up our next speaker, there's a few people we need to thank for getting our graduates where they are today. The first one is our faculty, administration, over here to my left, my right, that have helped get us here today. All of our preceptors that have helped with our clinical sites, as well as our funeral directing practicum, as well as all of our members on our advisory board. Being on the advisory board, I know how much work it can be to help get the program where it needs to be. A special thank you goes out to Rock Funeral Home and John Ferreira for coming up here with our hearse today, so we can have it as a traditional funeral. Our last speaker is going to be Professor Silva, and at this time I ask Professor Silva to come forward.
Good afternoon. I wanted to echo all of the recognition for those that made today possible, and those coming distances to celebrate with us today. It has been a privilege to be among such accomplished individuals this afternoon. When donning my regalia in preparation for your academic achievements and pinning ceremony, today I was hit with a wave of gratification reminiscent of the culmination of my own academic journey in the walls of New England Institute at Mount Ida College, the roots of Cape Cod Community College's funeral service program. I stood in front of the mirror with both pride and humility, holding those two powerful juxtaposing emotions in acknowledgement of the triad of the institution of academia, my role in this pinnacle moment, and your hard work and dedication. Newly pinned future funeral directors, embalmers, and colleagues, I am proud and honored to have watched each one of you complete your funeral service education here at Cape Cod Community College. You have treaded choppy waters of the fallout of a public health emergency. Although it hasn't been easy, it speaks volumes to your caliber that you sit before us today. As the funeral service final care oath states, that you shall be loyal to your profession and generous to its members. I also urge you to balance that. Amidst a world where others may try to define what success looks like for you, I encourage you to be courageous and adventurous and define what success looks like for yourself. In the words of Stephen Colbert, you are about to start the greatest improvisation of all, with no script, no idea what's going to happen, often with people and places that you have never seen before. And you are not in control. So say yes, and if you're lucky, you'll find people who will say yes back. As you embark into your profession and future licensure, maintain momentum of learning. Observe closely and be humble. Don't settle, and use your breadth of knowledge to enrich wherever you choose to root yourself. And finally, go forth and be prosperous. At this time, I ask the class of 2023 to gather in front of the room for a group photo prior to our recessional. Audience members, feel free to take a photo and then promptly return to your seat in observance of the recessional.
Bring it in, folks.
All right, need some of you on this side. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Now stay there. Everyone else in that photo.
Very demanding.
At the close of ceremonies, and after we recess, all are welcome to join us for a reception at the funeral service suite out the doors and to the left. May the platform party and the class of 2023 please rise and assemble for the recessional. Give them one more round of applause.